Hoy there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to week 10 of Football Talks. We're entering the double digits. I am joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Double digit hype! Hey!
And now we are getting closer and closer to January. Playoffs are merely 2 months away. But some might say it's still early. I disagree. The games that just decided who has a shot at getting in have happened. So let's talk about some of them. We are going to start with one of the last teams. There's only 3 teams left that are undefeated, and one of them is the Patriots, who welcomed in the Washington football team to enter the buzzsaw, and so they did. This was the lowest scoring game they've played, but they'll play whatever they want. They want to play high score, they'll play high score. But if they want to play low score, ugly defense, fine. That's what they did. Tom Brady, though, still dominated, 480 yards total offense. So they still pummeled them regardless. It's just that there were a couple of costly turnovers and the loss of one great running back who would have made a fantastic comeback player of the year case.
Yep. And we are talking about Dion Lewis, who tore his, I think, ACL?
No, he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
He just ran one play too many.
Yeah, and he went down in a heap. It was a non-contact injury. I watched that injury live, and he just went down right in a heap. It was boom, right down.
It's like what happened to Foster. So many people are tearing their Achilles. I don't know, maybe it's like, are they running too much? What causes an Achilles tear, Bill? Because most of these happen when when they haven't even started running.
Well, it's from years of abuse, obviously. They've been running in college, they've been running in high school, and they're running in the pros, so that puts a lot of stress and wear and tear on your body, and certain people's bodies are built differently than others, and some people's ACLs take more stress than other people's ACLs. And it looks like Dion Lewis's gave out on him, and he tore it. And it was a negative injury because that's one of the Patriots' best players and most unique offensive weapons.
I think he was going to be very needed for the Broncos game, but the Broncos have shown they could be easily exposed, and now they have lost Aqib Talib, so maybe they have a shot. I think they will win it regardless. The Patriots always find ways. They'll take away they'll take away one of the best things about you.
Yep, and for the Washington Redskins, the best thing that the Washington Redskins do.
Bill,
is
did
run
you
the
forget we don't call them that here?
Yeah, bleh.
It's okay. It's okay.
My brain, it's been, I haven't said that, Washington Redskins name in a year and a half, and that'll be the last time it's ever mentioned. But
Hopefully.
the Washington football team, bleh.
It's
The
cool.
Washington football team runs the football effectively, and, they shut that down.
How did Deshaun Jackson do? Did he do anything, or it just was a slow start for him?
It was a slow start to get back, and obviously, it's not one of the more ideal defenses to come back against. A very motivated New England Patriots team.
And have some of the youngest, best secondary players so far.
What's scary about the Patriots is that they're young on defense, and they can get better on defense. That's what's scary, and they're 8-0.
They have just the right amount of veterans like Dante Hightower to stay to lead these guys. Because if they were all young, I don't know how they'd still be. I don't think they would be as good, but because they have the great veterans, I think they learn better, and as a result they play better. But they also take some notes from the better ones. I noticed Malcolm Butler, the hero of Patriots lore. He always plays physical like Richard Sherman. He ain't Richard Sherman. I've said this before. He's nothing like him at all. But I think it's still worth pointing some similarities, and that's what makes Richard Sherman so successful. which I will mention Richard Sherman again later, but yeah, for now, leave it at that. I love how Malcolm Butler is a physical corner. That's you need. They need physical corners. They need to be more of a thing because you give a good player like Antonio Brown or Des Bryant even a yard of space, they can make you pay for it. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say a
I
yard,
mean,
like 3 yards of space. They will make you pay for it with a 50-yard touchdown catch. It's pretty horrible, Bill. But yeah, so what else do you have about the Patriots since you saw most of this game?
well, the Patriots looked looked in rhythm on offense. It was just the worst timing for fumbles and for picks to happen. They were on the Washington side of the field most of the day, and literally, uh, there was a fumble on offense. I think Julian Edelman fumbled the football. Tom Brady threw an interception in the red zone. It was a combination of a lot of events that just consistently kept happening. That score could have been easily 42 to something, but it was only I
It could
think
have been.
20.
It was all, but isn't it crazy that the defense stepped up and actually contained the Washington football team? Let me check the final score. The
I
final
think it was
score, the
27-10.
27-10. I think Washington only scored a touchdown on their own will, like from their own side, from a punt
Yeah.
return. That's all they did. It was impressive. So I'll give credit to the Patriot defense, one of the better young underrated defenses. But when you have Bill Belichick as your coach, you're gonna do
You
great.
just you just have a chance at winning every week. As long as he's your head coach, you always have that chance at winning. And the best, I think the best thing that they're showing is that they can beat teams to death without using Rob Gronkowski.
He
That's
caught some
that's the
good balls
scary
too.
thing. Yeah, he caught some balls, but they're showing teams that you have to game plan for the entire offense. And then that'll leave someone open. That'll leave LaFell open. That'll leave Amendola open. That'll leave
I
Gronkowski
really
open.
need Brandon LaFell to settle in because when he does, three good wide receivers, I don't
Yep.
even think the Broncos could cover all of them well enough. And
And
then there's
not to
Gronk.
and the other thing, not to mention, they also have, I think, the best kept secret in the NFL at running back, LeGarrette Blunt. Big,
He was ready to take it all.
big, powerful, and without him in that offense looks different. He is a very key part of that Patriots offense.
Yes. And now he's going to be relied on a lot more because of Dion Lewis being uh, out for the rest of the season. And now, Bill, I wonder what will happen when the Patriots decide, oh, we got to go get another running back for the rest of the year.
They,
What if that player just turns out to be even better just because of how they know who to get if there's
I
enough
mean,
people?
it's an embarrassment of riches because they already have two capable backups already on their roster in James White and Brandon Bolden. I
Yeah,
mean, they're both very capable backs. They've held the football in the NFL already before last year, and they're capable of doing it again. This team just knows talent. They know talent. They swim in talent. It just they have it's so much talent that they can't get them all on the field at once. That's what's scary about them on offense.
so, Bill, now I have this question. Do you still think that they can't go 16-0? I think with the loss of Dion Lewis, I think it might happen, but it won't be to the team you expect. But do you think
I
they can go 16-0, go perfect?
I feel it is possible that they could go perfect, but I don't feel it's likely. I feel like they could have a 15-1 season very easily. But 16-0. I mean, the last time that they were 8-0, they went 16-0. So I mean,
They just
by
have
now
yet
they
to
would have
play the.
already lost.
They have just yet to play the best defense supposedly now, and now that best defense lost one of their better players. Um.
He's suspended for a week.
Oh,
I know
then
that
that's
for
not
a
that bad.
fact.
I thought he was going to be gone for like 4 games.
Yeah, he's only suspended for 1 week, and that is Aqib Talib.
Yep. So never mind, it's fine. But oh boy, Bill, the Patriots have extra motivation. You do know who they
Yep.
play this week. I can't wait to watch it. A Super Bowl,
Yeah.
a Super Bowl rematch of 2 games. 2 games that the Patriots and their fans will never forget.
Remember, this is the team that ended another undefeated run in the Super Bowl and faced the undefeated Patriots in the regular season that same season.
So who's angrier than the Patriots right now? They are already
They
upset with Deflategate.
they are going to go into New York, and they are going to I feel like they're going to go all out on the Giants.
I feel they're
think
going to
gonna-
execute them.
I feel like they're going to make a statement. That's what they're going to do.
They're
Just
they're
like
going
they
to
always
punish
do.
every player, and I know they're going to especially watch Odell Beckham and take a ball from him, and then watch him go do the prima donna move and just beat the shit out of a water cooler. What the water cooler do to you, boy?
Oh man.
Just fucking catch it. You just hold on to the ball. It's your fault you didn't hold on to the ball well enough for that guy to steal it from you. But
Right.
anyway, Bill, let's move on.
Oh man.
Let's move on to the Cowboys game on Sunday Night Football. Bill, there were a lot of points like I thought there were. It started out really slow. It felt like a Ravens Steelers game, but it wasn't. But the worst thing happened, and it made me realize especially when they pointed out a certain statistic about the Dallas defense. They're great. They barely give up any points. In fact, I'm pretty sure all those points came from the Falcons and the Patriots when they played them in the first quarter. But in the fourth quarter in overtime, that's when they give them up. So what the Cowboys need to do is score a lot of points and just not and just not let the other team get so much to catch up or surpass them. So they lost to the Eagles in overtime with a horribly blown coverage. The same type of thing, the same weakness for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't question the front line, and Greg Hardy was actually really close to getting Bradford. If he was the second ahead, he would have caught him, he would have been sacked. Maybe strip sacked. There's no way of knowing, but just know that possibility. There was a chance Greg Hardy could have sacked him, and it would have been, what, third down? I don't know if it was first or second down when they threw it there. But yeah, blown coverage. I think it was an attempt at a blitz, and they made him pay for it.
Oh man.
One of the offensive linemen that was watching Greg Hardy made a good point about him. And honestly, Bill, he reminds me of Sue a little bit.
Ooh.
No, the comment he made, it reminds me of Sue. Not because of the dirty player, that's not what I'm going at here. He made a comment about something along the lines of saying that if he's losing, that's when he starts to tone it down. He doesn't play as well when they're losing, but at that time it was tied, so it was anybody's game. But
Yep.
I thought that was a really good point, and I think about it, it's like you're absolutely right. But that sounds like something with Sue as well. They both don't play well when they're losing, when they're getting destroyed. Like I noticed that when the Bills played the Dolphins and destroyed them. I thought it was gonna be close. I should have expected Tyrod Taylor for real there, but Sue and Hardy, they're both dirty players, and they don't fucking care once they start losing.
Yep.
I don't know if you agree with it.
And
So, what would happen if you have the What would happen if the Cowboys have Romo back, and then they'll probably be winning most of those games? Because the only real threat, the only games I can see them losing now are the Panthers game and the Packers game. But they're hosting the Panthers, and I think they can be beaten. Oh, and the Bills, but I think that could be the same case with the Bills. But so yeah, Bill, they are 2-7 now. Was it 2-6? I don't remember. 6, I think. Whatever. So what do you think now, Bill?
I still think that they're at best an 8-8 team.
8-8, but will it be enough?
Will it be enough? Conventional wisdom would say that a 10-6 team would make the playoffs. Everything under 10-6, you typically don't.
But consider
So,
our horrible division, Bill.
I mean, the only way the Cowboys would get in the playoffs is if they win the division, which is very much possible. Is what I'm alluding
It all
to.
depends on how the Eagles, the Washington football team, and the Giants play. Because remember, the Giants go to the buzzsaw next. They're next in line. Washington faced them. They faced the Patriots, and now they are facing the they are now facing the Patriots. And then towards the end, the Eagles play the Patriots.
I'll put it this way though. Of all the teams that are equipped to play the Patriots, the ones that are really equipped right now to beat them are the Eagles, but they're gonna get destroyed on defense. Really, the only way the Eagles are going to even have a chance against the Patriots is if they throw just basically just try to keep up and throw the football 90 times. That's really the only way you're gonna play them.
I found
Difficult.
I found the quote actually. Well, part of it for that guy. It was one of the linemen named Lane Johnson for the Eagles. He said he called Greg Hardy a guy that shuts it down when things aren't going his way. And yeah, so that was the quote. But yeah, so Bill, to me, well, the thing is the Giants beat the Bills, but then they're gonna host New York, which really, when it comes to those teams, it's a home game for both of them. It don't matter what colors they choose to fill MetLife Stadium with, right?
Right.
And I think the Jets have the better defense. They got, if Fitzpatrick's playing, they are a better team.
Yes.
So with that said, I think the Jets will beat the Giants. I think the Giants will lose to the Patriots as well, and maybe the Dolphins, since I think they're going to Miami. The
It's a two-team race, really.
It is.
Really a two-team race. It's the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys.
Fun fact,
those are the two.
I know I shouldn't be predicting this because we're spending way too much time on them as is with the whole NFC East. But I can already predict to you 2 games that are going to be the Sunday Night Football for the final week.
Oh yeah.
The first one, let's get the one that other people may or may not expect as much. This one will probably move down to the 4:25 game though. It will be the Vikings and Packers probably at Packers for the 4:25 game, if it comes down to that final game.
I mean, it could very possibly come down to that final game, the way they're both playing.
Or Seattle or Arizona, which I don't think it will happen. I think the Seahawks will be. If they're showing it, it's because like, oh, Seattle wins, they get in. But if they don't, they're out, and Arizona's already clinched the division.
Yeah.
So that the Raiders Chiefs will probably move to a 4:30 game, maybe. I doubt it. But the last game, this one, Eagles at Giants. That will probably be the Sunday Night Football game. Do you think so? Because Al and Chris love the NFC East. No matter how bad it sucks, every team could be like 1-7. They could only won one game, like the Lions. They could be playing like the Lions right now. But it's like, guys, they're the best teams. They're so great. They love the NFC East, Bill. I don't know if you've noticed that yet.
I mean, I'm not. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest. But I mean, it's an interesting division because of what I think the record's going to be to win that division. I think it's going to be a 9-7 record that wins the division, and the team that gets there is going to win the division.
I told you I think it'll be the Giants because I predict the Eagles are going to bomb come Thanksgiving out. Even if they beat the Lions, that's when they play the Cardinals, the Patriots, and the Bills. And LaShawn McCoy playing for real, if he's healthy, LaShawn McCoy's going to make the Eagles look like a joke. Same with Tyrod Taylor, so they haven't yet to play those better defenses and those better teams, so they're going to get wrecked.
I mean, I can see that happening. I mean, the Eagles are not a strong defensive team, and they're not strong on offense with their quarterback. If they had a better quarterback, they would have a better shot. But overall, their defense is lackluster at best and pathetically horrible at its worst.
They've only got two good defensive players. What's his name? I forgot his.
Kiko,
No, what? Who?
Kiko Alonso, I know, is a good player.
I was gonna say Maxwell a bit, but he was better with the Seahawks, and he's better with
Yeah.
that scheme. And what's his name? Perry Cox? Or no, you know what I'm talking about? He's
Fletcher.
or Fletcher Cox. Yeah, he's a defensive lineman. He always plays better come division games, but he's a good enough lineman. But I don't know why everyone says the Eagles. Oh, the Eagles have the best defense. I mean, I know the Giants are terrible, but I would say maybe Washington's a little better. They're the ones that create turnovers.
I mean, if you really think about the defenses in that division, the most overall good defense is the Washington football team's defense, followed by Dallas, followed by the New York Giants, and then in following it up in the rear, by a long shot, is the Philadelphia Eagles.
I put Washington at top simply because they create turnovers. Even though they were ugly, they still cause turnovers against the Patriots.
Oh yeah, I said that Washington's number 1, Dallas is number 2, New York Giants is 3, and number 4 by a long shot is the Philadelphia Eagles.
So yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be the Giants now. I think it will be the Giants. I mean, the Cowboys have an easier team now. The Bucks. They should beat the Bucks. If they lose to the Bucks, no way, no way. You mean that would mean they'd have to win every single game to get 9-7. They need this game. Play like your jobs are on the line, because they pretty much are. That's what I'd say to that.
They definitely need it. And, I mean, really, without Romo there, they look like a lost team. They can't get the ball to Dez.
They'd be stealing it right now if he were there. They would have stolen it.
I mean, speaking of stealing, Dez Bryant stole an interception away from the Philadelphia defender for a touchdown.
It's great. I was glad to see Dez was back. He got like a 50-yard run on the first half, and then I was like, where is he? Gets a touchdown. It's like, thank God. Cole Beasley was the fave. So while Castle's there, I would suggest if you have Cole Beasley, you start him because he's the one making plays.
Yep.
So it's crazy. We never mentioned once how Castle did. He didn't do bad, except for that pick, the pick 6, that cost him. But I don't think that was a bad throw. I just think that guy, the same guy who injured Romo, just knew he was gonna throw it. He just knew. He pulled him out. He channeled his inner Malcolm Butler, saying he's gonna throw it to this guy. Goes for it, takes it. That was not a bad throw by any means. Just that guy saw it coming.
Right.
But I said it wasn't Matt Castle's fault, though technically it was, because if not for that, it would never have been an overtime. So yeah, I think Darren McFadden's killing it. Expect him to get like a large ass contract extension, 20-year contract extension by Jerry Jones for all the money in the Bank of Texas.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Get ready for that.
Jerry Jones offers him part ownership of one end zone of the Jerry World.
Yeah, I don't like that name. But anyway, so Bill, any other games to talk about from last week?
The game that entertained me the most, the one that I personally took great joy in watching the team struggle, the Carolina Panthers.
Wait, why'd you want them to... Oh, sorry.
Destroying the Green Bay Packers. The Packers got absolutely stomped by the Carolina Panthers. And as a Detroit fan, that makes me
I
happy.
think as a non-Packers fan in the NFC North, I think Chicago and Minnesota would have went to a bar with you guys. Just drank the night
Exactly.
away, enjoying their suffering.
I mean, I am so tired of listening. Oh, Aaron Rodgers can bring the Packers back. He can bring the Packers back. And sure, he brought the Packers back, but they were way down in this game, and it felt like Carolina just took their foot off the gas pedal and just coasted. That's what it felt like.
Okay, you know what? I think I noticed the Panthers defense did the same thing like the Broncos, and I think this is how you get Aaron Rodgers to make not so great throws. You push the middle of the pocket. Because you know
Yep.
how Aaron Rodgers does this, and I think Andrew Luck does this. They take a step forward before they throw.
Yeah. You want to push the center backwards. You want to push the center of the offensive line backwards, but you also don't want him to get out. But so you need to contain him in the pocket. You want to drive your guy just so far enough outside on the outside where the two rushers, the defensive ends are. Push him far enough outside, but yet have enough leverage where you can still get at Rodgers and tackle him on the inside. So
Usually,
that way
what
he
they
can't.
well, usually how the offensive line works for the Packers is they try to make a hole in the middle just in case he can't find anyone. Same with Andrew Luck. They play very similarly in terms of their offensive line protects them. So that way they can run for it if they see no one available, and that's what usually torches them. But the Broncos and the Panthers, thank God they figured it out. I can only hope Detroit is noticing the same thing as I am. I'm not
I
saying make
mean,
me a defensive coordinator. I'm not close to do that shit. I ain't no. I'd be like a wannabe Rex Ryan, but
I
I'm so glad they've spotted that one weakness. If he can't take his step, he can't make those huge, amazing throws like he used to.
right.
I'm not expecting
And
all teams to do that, though. What are you gonna say, Bill?
I mean, really, the best part of the Denver and Carolina games is it gives you a blueprint to make Aaron Rodgers' life a miserable hell. I mean, he's thrown more interceptions in the last two games than he has in a long time, and it makes me happy. And I wish it would continue, but I know it's not going to. But I mean, seriously, it's 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 nice to see the Green Bay Packers struggling, and I really I'll go out on a limb right now and I say I want the Minnesota Vikings to win the division, and I want the Packers to lose and be a wild card team at best. I'm so tired of listening to the great Aaron Rodgers. You know, it takes 52 other people on that team to be just as great as he is. And if they're not up to snuff, then he's not going to go anywhere. And they're just not up to snuff on offense. Eddie Lacy is having a statistically terrible season this year.
Oh, and that makes me laugh. I think honestly, it's a combination of the defense um, preventing Rodgers to take that step, and Eddie Lacy not doing like what he should be doing. I think that's what is costing them. I don't know if Eddie Lacy will survive come the time to make the cuts. He's definitely not getting the franchise tag. That's for sure.
I mean, if he's going into a contract year, this is the absolute worst time to have this bad of a season if he's going into a contract year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's that bad right now.
And honestly, I think that's fine. Your Lions need to take advantage of that. You can't let him be the team that he bounces off of to get back to his stride, Bill. But
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
mean,
your Lions need to be need to be studying the fuck out of these last two games because they will determine the Lions' fate.
yeah, and the last note I want to speak of, it has nothing to do with any of the games. It's a little Lions tidbit, and that is that the owner of the Lions, Martha Ford, the badass, she takes no prisoners, and it's a good thing. She went from office to office firing people. That was something from last week, but there was the stories that she went office to office firing people, and that also just yesterday she was at practice and told her team, she gathered a team meeting and told the team that they are expected to go 8-0 and they will be judged accordingly. And thank God.
Oh
Thank
boy.
God.
All right, Bill. Before I talk about the games, I want to make a note of the with the whole saying Aaron Rodgers is the greatest. The salty, or excuse me, cheesy Packers fans crying. Why is it my greatest of all time quarterback not beating teams 55 to nothing? You know, you see, this is the biggest weakness for Rodgers, and to be fair, every other quarterback, a playoff caliber type of defense, then he plays those, he does not play as great. Granted, the Seahawks, they did not have their shit together, and I don't think it was because Cam Chancellor wasn't there. I don't think he would have made it enough to win the game regardless.
I just feel that defense is not what it was.
Yeah, it's a shell of its former self, and I think it's because they lost their coordinator.
Yep.
I miss him. That was Dan Quinn, right? Or Todd
Yep.
Bowles,
Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
who's facing trouble right now. But so with Aaron Rodgers, he's not the greatest of all time, because if he were, how come he's only been to one Super Bowl, won one trophy? Tom Brady's been to what,
Yep.
6 of them, won 4, probably could win a 5th one, and then he will be in a caliber of his own.
To be fair, I mean, it took a miracle catch to beat Brady in 2 Super Bowls in a row. I mean, he could have been at 6-0 really easily.
Yeah, and he could have gone to 7, which would probably be a record too high for no one to tackle for God knows how long.
I mean, he's already tied the record.
He's up there with Montana, and who is the other one that has 4 Super Bowls? Bradshaw?
And that is Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Things have gotten interesting for Brady. Wins one more. Yeah, no, he's already, to me, one of the greatest of all time, simply for those Super Bowl appearances. But, so the other game I want to make a note of, the Raiders-Steelers game. I know that they lost, and there's no such thing as a moral victory. I sound like a head coach here. But the Raiders kept up with a Ben Roethlisberger and a Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers team. Had Antonio Brown not carried so hard, because let's be real, if they should have just got the offensive lineman when Roethlisberger's gonna throw, just start running to Antonio Brown and surrounding him in bodies, so that way nobody can reach him.
Right.
And he'll always get a touchdown because nothing will teach him or reach him, because Antonio Brown is insane. But despite that, the Raiders kept up with how they could, and Derek Carr throws some insanely good passes. There's some in tight coverage, and he did make one mistake, though from what I've been told, that interception he made, that was because of that was a miscommunication. If that was not an interception and he threw a touchdown pass, the Steelers would have been the ones trying to reel back. So it's the only downside is the Raiders. They're showing how that they're too young to get in, but they could still get in. I mean, they do have the edge over the Jets, and remember, the Jets are in the AFC East, where the Patriots lurk.
Yep,
to be fair, the Raiders have to deal with the Broncos.
Denver.
But come next year, Peyton won't be there.
Yup,
Peyton
he
won't
won't be there.
So it should be fun for them.
And really, the best quarterback in that division will be Derek Carr.
Well, not yet. I would still say Philip Rivers, because look at how he's playing. These are losing games, and he's already making. He's on pace to break Peyton Manning's highest yardage record.
Which is crazy.
I would be like, you know what? You deserve better, man. You deserve better. Wow. But anyway, so yeah, I was glad I got to see that Raiders game. They actually aired that on CBS, so I was happy to see that. But I
Okay.
didn't like the result. But I thought it was fun, and I love seeing how Derek Carr just making some good throws. Already showing he's better than his brother, but his brother's cool. Not his fault that
His
the Houston Texans sucked at the beginning.
Yeah, well, he went to an expansion team. Really, they they didn't give him a chance to
Yep.
succeed.
But hey, Russell Wilson might be the most sacked quarterback now, and I would love to see that. Nothing against
Yep.
Russell, but I don't want that stain of a record being on a Texan any longer. But yes, I was so glad to see the Raiders game, and the other game maybe I think that's worth considering is the Bills game. Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy killing it, killing teams. If those two are healthy, I think that they can beat almost any team.
And Sammy Watkins was healthy as well.
Can he stay healthy? He needs to stay healthy. That's also key. But I still think they could squeeze away with some games without him. But if he's there, then it could be an onslaught for some game for most teams. Except the Patriots. Patriots will always humiliate you.
Yep.
So
Oh man,
yes, all right, Bill. It's time we move on to the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl
All right, so here's the thing: we're gonna give one or two players for each position.
pos- position. I what I what I'm doing, and I don't know if you're doing it, but I know what I'm doing. Since I'm not well versed on offensive linemen and defensive linemen, or really anyone on defense, I am picking like one or two per position that I
I would expect you to at least
could
have
think of.
two for the most popular offensive ones like wide receivers.
Oh yeah,
Because I
like
get the feeling you and I are gonna mix up some quarterbacks. I've got one I don't think
like
you're picking, but
like running backs. I have one of each because really there it's been all committees minus about three teams, and I have one wide receiver for each side. Really, the NFC wide receiving core has been hit by a lot of injuries, but I went with one wide receiver on the AFC uh, just to even it out. So obviously, my list will be probably different, so it'll be very interesting. So, who wants to start?
all right, I'll let you start first.
All right. So
We're going QB first on offense. We're gonna start
my
offensive players.
offensive players. Okay, so at quarterback, and which side? NFC? We'll go NFC.
Really it doesn't matter since this is like you play teams are playing each other. It's not AFC versus NFC anymore. Like two appointed coaches.
Right. Okay.
They'll
So
draft all the
here,
players. That's how it goes.
here's all my quarterbacks I have written down for possible Pro Bowl. Okay, and I've got Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints. I feel like he's back on track after last year. He's having a good year, and I think he'll be back in. I mean, he's Drew Brees. Obviously, the next one comes as no surprise. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers. What else do I need to say? He's pretty accurate, etc., and he's in the prime of his career. Obviously, I've got Tom Brady in there.
That was one of my players, Bill.
He's the quarterback of the defending champions. All he keeps doing is getting better and adding new stuff to his repertoire, even when he's 38.
I think he has the best QBR rating out of everybody, 113.5. The only one I think that comes close to him is Andy Dalton at a perfect
And
111.
and my last quarterback, speaking of the Big Red, Andy Dalton
The
of
Red
the
Rifle.
Cincinnati Bengals. Yep.
Well, you just stole like half of my players here. We should
Oh
have
man,
compared lists, but all right.
it'll be very interesting to hear your list.
Well, I'll get the ones you took from me. I have Tom Brady and Andy Dalton because they are just the best at their job right now. Though Tom Brady is still the better one. Should these two play, Brady will beat them no matter what. Next, I have Philip Rivers because he deserves so much better. He deserves a game where he has talent around him because he is playing at a historic level right now. Like I said earlier, he's on pace to break Peyton Manning's record that he made back in
Yep.
2013, his Super Bowl run. Carson Palmer is another person, but you know he's old and he'll probably be in the Super Bowl, so he won't be going there. You know what? For the hell of it, put Tony Romo to make up for the fact that he's missed so many games. He deserves better too. But the last person, this one might surprise you.
Oh,
I
yeah?
think he won't get voted in, but you know how sometimes players have a right to decline, so they go next man up. This guy will
Yeah.
be going. Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is gonna go and have another game to play to put under his belt and show he is for real. I have a lot of faith in seeing Derek Carr rising up and becoming. I don't know if you create a dynasty or anything, but I think he'll at least make the Raiders back to some of their old glory back in the John Madden days. Oh, and
nice.
they hopefully won't get fucked over by a tuck roll. But here's an interesting tidbit. Hoyer is actually a better quarterback than Luck. He's got way lesser interceptions than him.
Huh.
And while Andrew Luck beats him in both TDs and yards, he's got a better quarterback rating, 97.1 versus 74.9. So basically, if these two were to play, Hoyer would have a good enough shot to actually outpace him. It's
Yep.
kind of sad. You don't want to be a worse quarterback than Hoyer. The only one that's actually worth that right now is, well, Stafford. Though he deserves better too.
Yeah.
And of course, the
No,
rookie
like-
quarterbacks in Jameis Winston and Mariota, but can't get too mad at that. It's their first year. This is that revelation year where they're like, oh, it's this kind of league. But anyway, running back, Bill. Who do you have?
All right.
Dion
At
Lewis
running
and Foster
back-
are out. So let's make
Yep.
that clear.
At running back, I have four picked out
All right.
because I wrote down a couple extra that just came to
Oh,
mind.
and Le'Veon Bell. He's also out.
Yep. I have Todd Gurley of the St. Louis
That
Rams.
was mine.
He's a beast in the making. He is going to be the face of the NFL in about 5 years.
He probably will.
If he isn't already.
I would think he'd be it within 2 years, actually. I think he'll get an MVP award one day. I mean, not the rookie. He's stealing the rookie one right now.
Next up, I've got Adrian Peterson because he's a workhorse back, and I mean, seriously, he came back from his suspension. He's played decent to pretty great, you know. Next up, I have LeGarrette Blount, a very key part of that Patriots offense. And if they get going and he gets going, there's no stopping the Patriots. And the last player I have is on an underperforming offense, and that is Frank Gore of the Indianapolis Colts. He's been secretly playing really well for that team. Really, really playing decent, and I think he deserves a shot.
So you got like two out of my players. So yeah, I had Todd Gurley, and I had what's his name, LeGarrette Blount. Had both of them on there. So, but I have a lot more that you haven't picked. I have LaShawn McCoy because I think he is playing phenomenal. He's going to make the Eagles miss him. Because really,
Yep.
I think it was good that they signed Ryan Matthews, but if they kept McCoy, I think they would have won a few more of those games. Because I think he's better than Murray. Because Murray, we have yet to see him get injured, and I think he will get injured at some point. But
Yeah.
speaking of injury prone, this guy so far hasn't, and I hope he doesn't. Darren McFadden, if and only if he plays the way he's been playing for the rest of the season, they're gonna need him to. But if not, then I don't count him. He's just a honorable mention. But the other ones that I will mention and recommend, I recommend Devontae Freeman, because he has scored the most touchdowns out of any running
True.
back so far. So I think he's already deserving of one. And I think I think they're hitting a bump in the road. I think the Falcons will win enough to get in the playoffs. They only need to beat a couple of teams, and they're going to play some more scrub lord teams like the Jags, and they might beat they might beat the Colts next week. They don't play them this week. They will next week. So they have a shot because they're going to play some scrub defenses later, and that's perfect to run on. So last player worth mentioning for me is where is he? Oh, Latavius Murray, but he needs to. He's a good power running back, but I just need him to produce more touchdowns to make a case. Either him or Chris Ivory. They're both kind of the same. They're that hard-working running back who puts like 150% for each yard. So they're very similar to me, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to wide receiver. Do you mind if I go first with this one, Bill?
Go ahead.
All right. So the first one I want to recommend, my offensive MVP of the year, DeAndre Hopkins. This guy, the lone bright spot in an otherwise horrible offense for the Texans. He makes catches that are insane every week. He is great. I can't wait to see him become another face of the Texans lineup. I'm already hyped for that, and soon hopefully Jalen Strong will do that too. Maybe if he makes Hail Mary catches like that, I think they'll have no choice but to play him. We spoke of this guy earlier, Antonio Brown. He is great. I don't know. They're gonna carry with him, especially if they're with Ben Roethlisberger possibly not playing. Because I just don't know where they'll be without him, especially when they play good defenses like the Seahawks in a couple weeks. Julian Edelman, because I am fascinated with how well he's playing. He's insane. And I have two more, but I know you're going to recommend a certain Cardinal player, so I'll mention another young player. Mike Evans. It's because of him that Winston's settling in better. You have a talented wide receiver who's only going to get better, and this is a Texas A&M bias here speaking. So I like what he's doing. He's going to get better as time goes on, especially once Winston gets off the schneid and starts showing himself as a good quarterback. Because I'm starting to be convinced that both Winston and Mariota are going to be great quarterbacks and possibly be the next Brady v. Manning, though not as high caliber as them. No way.
Right.
So, Bill, who are yours?
Okay, I have 5 picks. The first is Larry Fitzgerald. He is an ageless wonder.
I knew you were going to pick him. That's why I didn't pick him.
He's got strong hands. He's a great wide receiver. He really deserves it after the last couple of years where he sort of tailed off. He's back with a vengeance, and he has a great quarterback throwing him the football.
Do you know how many wide receivers here deserve a Pro Bowl? But there's just too many.
Yeah, there's just too many. Obviously, there's DeAndre Hopkins. You already mentioned him, so I'll move on. Dez Bryant. I feel like he's going to have an amazing second half of the season, and he's going to make the Pro Bowl. It's going to happen. The next one is another one you already chose, and that's Julian Edelman. Short, great player, just fast, quick. What can you say about him? He's just great. And another player you mentioned, is Antonio Brown. I mean, where would the Pittsburgh Steelers be without Antonio
Confirmed for
Brown?
top frag, especially with Roethlisberger out.
Yep. I mean, without Antonio Brown, this team wouldn't even be 500.
Oh, and DeAndre Hopkins has the most yards by a wide receiver so far. I think he still does, despite them not playing. That says a lot of how much he's the. Honestly, I think he's playing better than Antonio Brown a bit, but Antonio Brown's just older, has more experience. But
Yep.
all right, anyone else? Because there are like
Nope.
two or three. You have. Oh wow, I thought you were gonna mention Julio Jones.
Well, there's two more.
Oh, go for it.
Julio Jones, and I can make a case for Randall Cobb of the Green Bay Packers.
You see, I was expecting you to mention AJ Green or Demarius Thomas, orange wearing players, and I'm surprised. I should slap myself for not mentioning them. Oh,
to,
oh,
to be fair, though, this year they're overrated, and they wouldn't to leave off, Edelman or Antonio Brown or any of the other players here would be just criminal.
you know what's criminal? The fact I didn't mention a possible rookie of the year and a veteran next to him. The two Raiders receivers, Amari Cooper playing great. He just got a touchdown. Like the Steelers played their Gronkowski coverage style. Don't cover the most explosive player on the team, and that's what got Cooper a touchdown that game. Left him by himself in the end zone. Horrible. They thought, oh,
Yep.
he's a young player, a young quarterback. Derek Carr won't get him. And Crabtree, I think he caught 2 touchdowns that game too. So both of them could go in, but Crabtree showing he's one of the best free agent pickups. He's definitely going to get paid. Fullback, I don't know. I only had Jay Prosh. This guy saw him just run over the entire Buccaneers line. Bill, can I go
Yeah.
first with these tight ends?
Sure.
I have really only 2. I have Greg Olson because I think he's part of the reason why the Panthers have done so well. He made some good catches, especially that one that won them the game against Seattle. And just that was the statement touchdown right there. This is a statement game, and this is a statement touchdown for Cam and him. And of course, I have to mention the unstoppable Gronkowski. The Gronk is insane. He's having a great year, even better I think than last year, because they're going to be playing some scrub teams. They played already the Jags. They're going to play the Titans and make mincemeat out of them, and then Houston, which rest their souls. Oh, everybody, let's be real. Everyone's on the buzzsaw, and Gronk is the one who's powering it up.
Yep.
But anyway, who are your tight ends, Bill?
I have 5 tight ends picked out.
Wow, should have picked another one.
5. All right. So obviously I went with Gronkowski and Olsen. Those were the 2. But here's some names you wouldn't think of. Jimmy Graham of the Seattle Seahawks. He hasn't had a great year, but I mean, he's single-handedly won them a game already once this year. Oh my God, I forget which game it was. It was a few weeks ago. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had like 108 yards, and he was really the only person catching the football.
All right. So who else do you got?
But
Because I just realized I
have-
missed one too, but go ahead.
I have Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Donkey
He's
Kong.
he's having a decent year, and I mean, he's Alex Smith's favorite target.
He should
I
change.
mean,
He should
he's-
make his nickname TK, Travis Kong, because he likes Donkey Kong in Smash Brothers.
Heck yeah, man.
But
And
who else you
there's
got?
one other player, and the only Detroit Lion that made the list, Eric Ebron.
Wow, he's actually doing a little better this time.
Ebron is having a good year this year, and he's secretly one of the top 5 tight ends in the league this year. I know, it's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. I would expect someone saying Owen Daniels is there simply because Peyton Manning's there, but
Nope.
you know, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to mention Tyler Eifert because he's got the I think he's got the
Oh,
most
yeah,
touchdowns out of all the tight ends, and
oh,
I think he's got the most touchdowns thrown to him in
I
the
mean,
red zone. 9.
that's actually number 6. It has to be number 6. Tyler Eifert, that kid can play. That kid can just flat out play. You see what sort of difference it made with the Bengals.
Yes. All right, Bill. Do you have any linemen to recommend? Because really, I could just
Okay,
recommend the Bengals lineman and the Cowboys lineman and a couple of the
I
Jets.
act, I actually have 3 offensive linemen picked out. Number 1 is the center of the New Orleans Saints, Max Unger. He's a Pro Bowl lineman from past seasons in Seattle, and you can see what sort of effect him not being there is on the Seahawks, and what sort of effect him being in New Orleans is on the Saints.
Yeah, well, an edge rusher is all they need to hit Drew Brees because the center's fine. A nose tackle won't reach Drew Brees.
A, but a great center helps set protections for your quarterback as well, and it helps shift the line right or left to get at edge rushers, and that is key.
That's why I have
And
Travis Frederick. He's still good. I think he's still one of the
over
better centers in the league.
overall, he's helped keep Drew Brees upright, whereas last year he was on his back a lot. Uh, Another offensive lineman, Nick Mangold of the New York Jets. He's just great at what he does. He's a former Patriot guy. He's a Pro Bowler. I just feel he's been really good. Another name that's off of the Jets line is DeBrickashaw Ferguson. He's just big as ever, and he's still as strong as ever. And I think Michael Oher of the Ravens is another good name. But my last one, and he's hurt, is Jason Peters. I hope he comes back
Who's he
this
with?
year. He's with the Eagles.
Okay. Oh, I thought he was out for the season. Was he?
I think he is, but I'm not sure.
Because I think he
just
went down during the Panthers game, right?
I put his name down. I don't know if he's out or not. I just know that obviously I would vote for him for the Pro Bowl.
Yep. All right, Bill. It is time for the defensive side. I will start
Okay.
because you know who I've got to mention. This guy always deserves to go.
Defensive line.
Yep. J.J. Watt. He's not having the best. He's not having a greatest season as before. And I knew that was going to happen. That's why I really wanted him to win that MVP award. But despite being triple teamed, he's still got 40 hits, 8.5 sacks, and he did get a forced fumble, so it's good. I have Robert Quinn of the Rams because the Rams defense has always been for real. Nobody's questioning it. It's just the offense, but when the offense is finally clicking, the defense does even better. He's got 5 sacks. He's forced 3 fumbles. So I like where he's going. I hope they get better. I hope the Rams offense just clicks, and if Foles ain't the answer, they sure as hell have a better quarterback behind him in Case Keenum. And last but not least for me, well, I've got 2. Chandler Jones, 9.5 sacks. Probably the best lineman on the Patriots. He's always getting a sack for every game he's in so far. So I hope he gets in. And the actual last person, is Khalil Mack. He's making the leap. I expect him to get more sacks, especially when they play a team like the Lions. Sorry, Bill. Stafford is going to get sacked twice by this guy. But yeah, those are my defensive ends. So I want to hear who you got next.
All right, on my defensive linemen, I only have 2, which I didn't really have many in mind because I don't really pay attention to that side of the football. I know I'm not a good defensive mind in football,
Casual.
but I have Justin Houston of the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right.
I mean, he's just a beast. He reminds me of Lawrence Taylor in a lot of ways.
Too bad
and
J.J. Watt
the,
exists to take away most of that
and
fame.
then I mean the future Hall of Famer J.J. Watt. I mean, god damn, does he make? He even makes watching the Texans in a losing season enjoyable because he's J.J. effing Watt.
Yes, but all right, defensive tackles. I have three. I have Calais Campbell of the Cardinals because that Cardinals defense is also for real. I would say the Rams are slightly better in terms of the front seven, but there's also Tyrone Crawford, who I think will be an emerging star for the Cowboys. And speaking of the Rams again, Aaron Donald, 4.5 sacks for a nose tackle. That's pretty high, actually. And 28 hits. I don't know how many of those are for losses, though. But yes, those are my three defensive tackles because I can't. They're really hard to pick out because they don't get a lot of sacks like others.
Yeah. See, still I would go to Ndamukong Suh because he still makes a difference on that line.
The only
And
downside,
the
the loss of Cameron Wake. Because he's out, Ndonkin Suh gets more focus.
yep. And the one other guy that I forget his name, but he plays for Tampa Bay and he plays in the center. And he was picked right behind Suh. I forget his damn name every time. But he also deserves a shot at the Pro Bowl because damn is he good. And he resigns with the team that he plays for.
Yeah, so Bill, anyone else, or you want to move on to the linebackers?
Linebackers, let's go.
Alright, so for inside linebackers, one of the players I'm recommending, Luke Kuechly. If Luke Kuechly isn't playing, their defense drops like 5 ranks. Let's not say they're bad, but without him, he's their brain. He's their brain. He's the one that sees what the offense can do. And of course, he's made some really crucial interceptions, like the one that sealed the Colts game.
Yep.
He should have prevented it from going to overtime, but oh well, he still got what he wanted in the end, right?
Right.
I would there was one more I had, but now his name escapes me.
See,
Oh,
you can do both in linebacking cores, outside and inside.
all right.
It's
Then I'll
just easier to
then I'll
just
I'll just move on to the outside linebacker because I think I have more of those than I do.
yeah.
Like for instance, here's one, the one I mentioned him today, Dante Hightower. He also keeps that defense in check. He's got 3.5 sacks. He's a good linebacker, but he's more of the pass rusher. And here's one you might not expect. I like this guy a lot. I'm talking Whitney Merciless got like 3 or 4 sacks against Zach Mettenberger. I don't know if he'll ever get a game like that for a while, but I like how he plays, and if you give him a chance, he's going to just demolish. He'll demolish quarterbacks. And of course, I have to mention the former Cowboy because it's got to be Texas related somehow. Demarcus Ware. I miss him. I wish he were still there, but he's better with the Broncos because he's actually got help. Because he was always double
Yep.
teamed when he was with Dallas because he was the only edge rusher. So he just is good. I wish he were back, but what can I do? So I think that's all I
Right.
really have. I mean, I could. No, I think that'll do. That'll do. That's all I got.
My linebacking core consists of 4 players. Obviously, one of them is Clay Matthews. I mean, I can't deny that he's a good player. He's a good player. I just he just drives me nuts, and I hate listening about him. But I mean, he's a good player. Uh, I mean, the best player right now is Luke Kuechly by a long shot. I mean, that that kid, that kid can play. He can play. He is a grown man beating the shit out of other people, and that I mean, he's a beast. All right. So another of my linebackers is someone that you wouldn't expect. but he plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's Vontaze Burfict. He is a beast himself. And obviously, you want to go Khalil Mack. That is another good one. And Von Miller is another great linebacker.
All right, Bill.
And that's
Oh,
my set.
all right. Let's move on to the centers. The center backs, I mean. My first one, I'll get the obvious one out. Patrick Peterson, 2 interceptions already. I think he'll get more. I think he's one of the better. He's one of the better ones. He's complemented by another player I'll be mentioning later when we talk safeties. So I'll move on from him. Darrelle Revis. He is also playing lights out, playing tight coverage. I think not as tight as Richard Sherman, my final guy worth mentioning. But like I said, Richard Sherman will not give Antonio Brown or any of those great wide receivers distance. He will always be in their face, hands ready to block passes or intercept them. He's not having a great year like before, but I think with time he'll start getting those interceptions like people want him to.
Right.
What do you got?
At corner, I have Richard Sherman, shutdown corner. Still great. Plays for a decent defense. Not great like they used to be, but he's still a key cog on that defense. I have Aqib Talib. Still a decent corner. And he plays for Denver, one of the best defenses in the league, and he's a main part why they're a great defense. Another great defense in the New York Jets has Darrelle Revis. He's a shutdown corner, and he's still fighting and still putting up those great defensive games. But a name you don't hear a lot, and he plays for Carolina, Justin Morgan.
Wow.
Justin Morgan.
I thought you were going to say Josh Norman.
Oh, yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah, I thought it was Justin Morgan.
No, it's Josh. It's Josh Norman. Wow.
Josh Norman. Josh Norman is a shutdown corner, and I think he's the best cornerback in the league this year.
I think he is too, but actually, I can't believe I forgot the New England legend, Malcolm Butler. He's not doing it, putting up as much numbers, only 1 interception, but I think he's still worth putting in there because he plays something similar to Richard Sherman. A poor man's Richard Sherman, if you will. But Bill,
yeah.
Safeties now. We'll go mixing both strong and free safeties.
Free. Yep.
So, first one I have worth mentioning, he is Charles Woodson. He's playing a little hurt. He's playing banged up right now, but come Pro Bowl, he'll be fine. 5 interceptions, the most, I think, out of any player, or out of, well, it's tied now with Mike Adams for the Colts, but I'm not recommending him. But,
right.
Charles Woodson deserves 1 more Pro Bowl before he's going to retire whenever the hell he wants, because he can play till he's 390 and still be fine. He's probably going to do that.
Another University of Michigan guy.
Oh, that makes you happy, Bill. But next up on my list, it is another Cardinal. I'm talking Honey Badger, Bill. Honey Badger is great.
Yeah.
He's gonna get better from here on out, and he's the one that complements Patrick Peterson. So that's where I think those two play great because they're both on the field together. Next, Glover Quinn, one of the only good defensive players there. They don't target him that much, and that's why the Lions get exploited, because they're not going in his direction generally. They always go after the weak ones like Darius Slay or James Ahedebo, who's always playing injured. Or am I thinking of somebody else? But oh well. So yeah, those guys I have as mine. I know I had one more, but I guess that was Rashad Johnson for the Cardinals as well, because he's also got 4 interceptions. But anyway, that'll
right.
be it for me. Who do you got?
So, I've got Cam Chancellor. Obviously, he made a huge difference coming back. Uh, I mean, I got the Honey Badger, obviously, because he's one of the best, and Earl Thomas, because he's the heart and soul of the Seattle
You're
Seahawks.
gonna be
And
surprised how many kickers I'm gonna recommend, Bill. I'm just saying, get ready for that.
oh god, the kickers. And here we
Oh wait,
go.
you don't have any more safeties?
Nope.
All right, so kickers. I don't even know how many. I haven't counted them yet. I'm gonna of course start with Dan Bailey. I think Dan Bailey is gonna go into the Hall of Fame as one of the actually the best kicker that ever lived. 16 to 16 so far. One of the most consistent players at the Cowboys. Next, I have the Patriots kicker, Steven Gostowski, also doing great. 19 from 19. He's perfect too. He's ready for whatever type of game they play. The next guy, I think he's actually the best kicker in the league so far. Well, in terms of how far he can go, he's missed. He's missed some. Greg Zerlin for the Rams, just in the last game, got a 61-yarder in Minnesota. I don't know if he could make it when it was colder and windier over there, but I mean, it's fall. This is when the wind starts to pick up. But, man, that was crazy. So, those are my guys. I would mention Nick Folk for the Jets, but he's out for the year, I think. So, and Randy
Right.
Bullock, the former Texan kicker, has to take his place. So yeah, who do you got, Bill?
Okay, my kickers are Steven Goskowski, obviously,
Yeah,
Dan Bailey, I mean,
Goat.
and
Who else you got?
Hauschka.
Hauschka.
I got Stephen Hauschka from the Seahawks.
Hauschka is great as well. I knew you were gonna mention him. Um, I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna mention the Colts one too, Vinatieri. I think
Eh,
oldest kicker in the on the field right now. Maybe oldest
I mean,
player.
he's a possible Hall of Famer.
I think he's a possible Hall of Famer. He'll definitely get in before Dan Bailey, but I think Dan Bailey will go in as the, at the time, greatest. Because he's so far been the most accurate ever.
I mean, I'll put it this way: Robbie Gould is also really a great kicker himself.
Yeah. Um, anyone for punters? Because the only punt, because I've only got one.
I've got one.
I've got Shane Leckler for Houston. He's a veteran too. Can a punter get in the Hall of Fame?
There's been a punter in the Hall of Fame. In fact, the first one was elected last year.
Oh, finally. They should really at least, like, kickers are people too, as the Rams say. I would put kickers and punters as their own, like a special teams Hall of Famer. So I put Shane
I
Leckler
mean,
because he's been at it for years.
I'm putting the person that's had the most practice at it into the Pro Bowl. The Lions punter. I don't even know his damn name.
Sam Martin.
But yeah, Sam Martin. Sam Martin is going to the Pro Bowl because I've gotten to watch him punt a lot this year.
I
And obviously, he's got a lot of practice, so he should go.
Yep. All right, Bill. Before we go to the picks, I just forgot one last thing to mention about that Panthers Packers game. Cam Newton is the anti-hero. The Packers fans like, oh, he's a criminal, remember? He would steal. He's a bad person. And you wonder, why are they upset? Not just because of the game, but because of what he did to one innocent, I would suppose, Panther or Packers fan that's from Carolina. The sign said, do you remember what it said, Bill?
I don't.
Like um, Carolina Cheesehead or something like that.
Something like that. I
I'm
don't
going to
remember.
check. Yeah, he tears down a Packers banner about from the Bank of America Stadium. There is actually a picture of it, and if I can get it, I will show it. I will put it on the video for you to see. But Bill, I should be seeing it, but I found the link to it. Let me get it. I found if it was I'll give you the tweet. All right, Bill, get ready for it. North Carolina Cheesehead. It's the state of it's. Wait, here you go, Bill. Take a look at it. It just says North Carolina Cheesehead, and the Green Bay Packer logo is on there. It was a
Yep.
$500 sign. I don't care how much of
Oof.
a fan you are, unless you're a fucking CEO of some company. I'm not talking
You
the biggest
never.
company. You should not spend that much money on your favorite team with just one thing.
No, thank you.
You could buy like 10 jerseys, hats, helmets with that money, and I wouldn't question it because those things are
Yep.
actually worth buying for a fan, not
Yep.
some fucking
They're
banner. You could
yeah, they're tangible.
you could buy 2 or 3 tickets with that money. So Cam
Yep.
Newton, being proud of his team, goes and tears it down, and he's not gonna face any trouble with it. But the Panthers, the Panthers organization, agreed to pay for it
Yep.
because they don't want to get sued. I know they have they had no choice. But
Right.
but
All right.
the other thing is this. Here's the kicker: they're calling him bad, being a bad player for that. You remember how I told you before we had a call, Bill, that Julius Peppers was salty, no, cheesy, about the fact that Cam Newton and the Panthers were beating them because we can never lose. We can never be losing at all in a game. We can't have a good game. That's impossible. We need to devastate our teams because that's how
Right.
the Packers culture is. Win by 200 points, or else that was an unacceptable win. But anyway,
Right.
so when Cam was going to take a ball, he was just happy that he got a touchdown, and Julius Pepper smacks it off his hand, and Cam is like, "What the hell, man? Calm down." So he goes, gets the ball, and gives it to a small child, a small boy who lost his father that week, and gives him the ball like a good person.
Yep.
I feel like Cam is chaotic good in a way, but still a good gesture, ruined by the Packers. Bill, I tell you, the Packers and Packers fans are the reason we can never have nice things in the NFL. Always soiling good moments in football. But all right, Bill, we need to move on. This is our longest podcast yet, that's for sure. Start us off with Thursday night football, and maybe we'll recover from these picks because you and I got a lot wrong because there were plenty of upsets. Titans and the
Yep.
Colts doing that shit, ruining everything.
Yep.
All right, Bill,
And
start us off with Thursday.
the Thursday game is the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets.
The return of Rex Ryan. I'm calling for an ugly game. Like I said, I still stand by my pick of the Jets winning. And what about
And
you?
I think I'm changing it
You sure?
to the Buffalo Bills and Tyrod Taylor running around the field making things happen. I just have a weird feeling about it. You
That
know?
was actually your original pick. You're not changing it. You kept it the same.
Oh, even better. I'm keeping it then.
All right.
I thought I picked. Maybe I'm going crazy.
You,
Okay.
you probably are.
One 1:00 game. The Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
Step up to the slaughter, Detroit. You're not winning here. I didn't care if you were winning. You are still not coming out of this one. I have the Packers punishing the Lions in this game.
I know I'm going to get flack for this. I said I'll never pick them ever again. But the Packers will go on a 3-game losing streak. They will get embarrassed at home when they lose to the Detroit Lions unexpectedly.
Oh boy, Bill, I'm impressed.
I said I never pick them ever again, and this will be the only time I pick them this year.
Well, that's assuming they don't actually win. But all right, Bill.
Next
up.
Next up, the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay
There's no way they can
Buccaneers.
fucking lose this game. You cannot lose this game. You go 10-7 or 2-7. You have to win every single game with Romo from there on out to get in the playoffs. Hell no. You got to come out on this. I'm going for the Cowboys because they should take care of business. Castle is already settling into that offense, and Dez Bryant is about to go off with 3 touchdowns, maybe.
This is a must-win game for the Cowboys. They must win this, and I think they will. And I'm picking the Cowboys to beat the Buccaneers.
They have such a small margin for error now. They cannot make any mistakes. The only loss they should lose to now is the Packers when they go over there, but that's for a while from today. All right, Bill, next game.
Next up, Carolina Panthers at the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans, sure, they're no longer the Titans with Mariota, but I don't think they'll be Cam Newton in the Panthers. Carolina goes 9-0 here.
Yep, I got that. The Carolina Panthers defense is not choke the Titans offense. It's just gonna be brutal for the Titans.
All right,
Carolina
Bill,
wins.
next game.
Chicago Bears at the St. Louis Rams.
Oh, Chicago's thinking they're riding high and coming back, but no, the Rams are frisky still. They want to go back to being above 500, and so they shall. They shall defeat the Chicago Bears with Todd Gurley rushing for 150 yards.
Have you ever seen a Ram choke a bear? Well, you're going to see it this week when the Rams defense chokes out the Bear offense. Oh man, the Rams will defeat the Bears.
All right, Bill, next game.
The New Orleans Saints at the Washington football team.
Oh boy. I originally had the Washington football team here, and I think they can steal it. But I'm going to go with the Saints. The Saints they clicked, and then they just blew it to the Titans. I don't think they're going to take that loss too well. I'm going with the Saints this time.
I also got the Saints. I think they're going to throw the football all over the field like they always do, and just score a lot of points.
All right, Bill.
Next
game.
The Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know, when the Cowboys played the Eagles and Dez scored that touchdown, I really wanted him. I know he can't do it because he'll get fined and it'll be unsportsmanlike conduct. I wanted Dez to find DeMarco Murray, throw up the X in his direction. But no, he didn't. But I'm going to pick the Dolphins here. I expect Sue to break through and just smash Sam Bradford. So, and Ryan Tannehill will have to get his shit together, and I think he will.
I think the Dolphins will score a lot of points, but so will the Eagles. And I think it's a 38-35 game, and the Eagles will barely squeak out a win.
Oh boy. All right, Bill. What do you got next?
Next up, the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Bill, since does your pick change whether or not Roethlisberger is here or not?
No.
It doesn't? Well, I don't know. I'm gonna do a split thing like Hoyer versus Mallet if they started a game. If Roethlisberger's in, they'll win. They'll easily trounce the Browns. But if he's not, I think the Browns will steal it. So my pick will change dependent on whether Roethlisberger will play. Is that okay with you, Bill?
Fine with me.
All right, who do you got?
I got the Pittsburgh Steelers bashing in the Browns either way.
I really
Even
hope
if
McCown
Landry
doesn't show up. I want Manziel to steal this one just so he can become the hero Cleveland deserves.
He's not going to be a starting quarterback even if McCown's healthy. Yeah, McCown's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, because Pettin is a stupid coach who just doesn't want to have a winning season. He's honestly
Next,
sorry, Bill, but when we make awards come the end of the year, can we make a best and worst coach of the year? Because to me, I'm torn between Philbin and Pettin for being stupid. But I just bring that up now for later. All right, Bill, next game.
yeah. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, it's gonna end exactly like before. The Ravens are going to they're gonna sack Bortles 5 times, and the Ravens will win without Steve Smith, their lone bright spot. They'll punish them. I'm talking a 29-10 game here.
Upset of the week.
Oh no!
I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Baltimore and throwing the football all over the Ravens defense and winning the game.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Upset alert! Oh my god!
You already have 2. You have the Lions and this one.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings at the Oakland Raiders.
The black hole consumes all. The black hole consumes Minnesota. Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree gonna get touchdowns for both of them. They should defeat the Vikings in a fun game.
This is going to be a really fun game, and I think what's going to come down to is defense. And I feel the Minnesota Vikings defense is just better than the Raiders defense. And Derek Carr's going to throw just one interception, and it'll be the game-losing one. I have the Vikings winning, sadly.
Oh, come on, Bill. You're making the same mistake like with the Jets game. If the Raiders could dissect the Jets defense, I think they can dissect the Vikings defense. But go ahead. Next game.
Next up, the New England Patriots at the New York
Oh,
Giants.
this is one of my game of the years right here. I'm calling the Patriots to humiliate the Giants. They're going to intercept the ball. Malcolm Butler's going to intercept the ball from Odell Beckham and take it into the house. And Beckham is going to destroy 10 water coolers just of how angry he is. Because he's the prima donna of the league right now. I have the Patriots humiliating the Giants in every way here.
I also have the Patriots stomping the New York Giants. The Giants' defense is non-existent, and they're going to be exposed by the Patriots.
Fun fact, Bill. I have New York going into a riot, and I have a friend in class, and she's a Giants fan. I can't wait to see the look of her face Monday. I hate New York teams.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
All right, Bill.
Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos.
No Jamal Charles means no win. The Broncos will steal this one even without Aqib Talib. I have the Broncos winning a good game, a good defensive slugfest against the Chiefs.
I have the Broncos coming back and winning. They're gonna choke out the Chiefs' offense, and the Chiefs' defense is pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, Bill.
Next
There's a
up.
good Sunday night football game.
Sunday night game, the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks.
Who would win a death battle? I have the Cardinals taking this one from Seattle at the clink. They are not afraid of the clink. I have Larry Fitzgerald getting a touchdown against Richard Sherman. It'll be a fun game. But go Cardinals. Take the division.
And I've got the Seattle Seahawks beating the Cardinals in a very defensive struggle against the Cardinals. I think this is secretly a very good defensive game, and both teams are not going to score a lot of points.
All right, Bill. Monday Night Football.
And then the Monday night game is the Houston Texans at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I have the Bengals easily winning this. In fact, expect the backup quarterback for the Bengals to make an appearance today or that day. I have the Bengals winning this comfortably.
I also got the Bengals winning by a big margin. They just look scary. They look scary at indeed.
All right, Bill. Give me the game of the year, Thursday Night Football, in case we're not around.
Thursday Night Football, the greatest game that ever was played. The Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars will take this one from Marcus Mariota in a shootout. This will probably be a lot more fun than you think because there are two terrible defenses and two young gunslinging quarterbacks, but the more experienced one will take it. I have the Jags winning this game.
And I also have the Jaguars beating the Titans. They're going to run the football all over the Titans, and they'll throw the football over the Titans, and I feel Jacksonville is just the better team.
Game of the year.
And they'll be secretly back in the race for that division.
Isn't that sad? All right, Bill. That's going to do it for this week. This is the longest one you've ever recorded for the Pro Bowl. Next year, I'll have some way to get to compensate for this. But yeah. Anyway, that'll do it. Have you anything else to say? Because I'm loving this week's slate of games. I can't wait to see the
It,
fought. I can't wait to see the
so
slaughter.
it's going to be a fun week. That's what I got to say.
All right, Bill. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you guys in week 11.